Hey guys, so I'm back with that fifth underrated horror movies video that I said I'd do once I did my fourth one. So I finally found 15 to do this video. You know, something I've actually learned with doing these underrated videos, because I never thought I would do all these, man. I mean, this is my fifth one right now, so maybe there'll be a sixth one, seventh one, so the list can really go on for these underrated movies, so... So... Basically, I don't know how many I'm going to make, and I'm sure maybe there'll be another one in the future. So once you watch this video, I'm sure you can, like, say I missed one. So if you think there is an underrated horror movie, and I don't mention it in this video or any of my previous videos, just leave me a comment right down there in the comment box, and I'll probably feature it in a future one. So let's get started on this one. So, this one I actually saw on my YouTube friend Dave's Nightmares video, one of his underrated ones. And so I got around to watching this recently, and it's Riding the Bullet. And after seeing this, I mean, like, yeah, it's a little messy at times, there's like too many of these dream sequences that kind of got a little annoying, so there's times it got kind of messy, but I really did like the atmosphere. I really did like David Arquette's character in this movie. I thought the story was pretty steady. I mean, like, it was pretty well told. This is directed by Mick Garris, and I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, it's not the best Stephen King adaptation, but I'm sure it's not the worst either. So I did enjoy this, and I definitely did think this was underrated. And here's actually another one, also directed by Mick Garris. It's Quicksilver Highway. This basically this two-part movie. It's like two short films. One's inspired by Stephen King. The other one inspired by Clive Barker. So, like, this was a pretty good movie. I mean, it's has Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future in it. I really did like his character. I liked how he was, like, featured in the two short films. So, like, this is a movie I don't really hear people talk about. I have never really heard of it myself till recently after I saw Riding the Bullet. Like, I ordered Riding the Bullet off of Amazon. This was, like, recommended to me, so I purchased this as well, and actually really did enjoy this. So this is, like, a pretty gritty movie, pretty atmospheric. I really did like it. And here's another one. This is Witchboard. This is the Scream Factory Blu-ray. Like, this is actually one of my favorites. I really do like this movie a lot. I saw this, like, years ago and never featured it on one of my one of my underrated videos, so I thought this is actually the time I do it. This is directed by Kevin Tenney, who directed the Night of the Demon movies, or technically this is the first one, but he also produced the remake of it. And I hear they're remaking this movie as well. So, like, this is, like, basically a movie about this this Ouija board that this girl uses, then she gets possessed by a ghost. So basically it's kind of like the premise of the movie Ouija, or kind of, I should actually say, but this is a way better movie. And here's actually another movie that was recently released on Blu-ray, also directed by Kevin Tenney, and that's Witch Trap. I mean, this movie does have its problems, yes, like, mainly the problem was, like, the terrible acting, but, other than that, I'm actually willing to get past that, because I really do, this is, like, it's a pretty entertaining movie, pretty atmospheric. Linnea Quigley is in this, like, she's also in, Night of the Demons. And, like, interesting thing is, like, this is, like, one of those, covers where you can, flip and it's, like, different artwork. Like the original poster on the other side. And it says, like, it's not a sequel to Witchboard, which is true, it's not a sequel to Witchboard despite its title. But I really do like this movie. And here's another one, also released by the Scream Factory, and that's Scarecrows. It's basically about, like, these convicts they get stuck in this forest with all these scarecrows around. They're basically alive, like, killing them off one by one. I mean, I really do like the looks of the Scarecrow. It's pretty creepy looking. I really do like the music as well. Actually, like, creates some pretty good atmosphere. So this actually, it's kind of a funny thing. There's a bunch of like Killer Scarecrow movies, but this is one of the better ones though, because I've seen some pretty cheesy ones. And here's another one that's directed by Tobe Hooper, the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's Funhouse. Like this movie, I mean, like, I do see it getting a little more attention these days, but it hasn't really gotten attention as much in the past though. It's like, this is like, it's a pretty good movie about these kids that like, basically stay at this carnival, only to find out that, like, the people that work the carnival are like all these freaks. Like like there's this one that has like, kind of like this very messed up looking face. I mean, that actually looked like it could have given me nightmares if I saw this as a kid. And unfortunately I didn't see this as a kid, but I know for sure that would have given me nightmares. Yeah, so like, I know Tobe Hooper is like, famous for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, but this is actually one of his better movies. I mean, I've seen some movies I didn't like of his, like Jinn is an example of a movie I didn't really like of his. Spontaneous Combustion is kind of an movie, but I mean, I did like Life Force and Salem's Lot. But yeah, this is one of his better movies. And here's actually one that I also saw on Dave's Nightmares video, and I checked out after sawing one of his videos. And that's Angeland. This is a movie from the 90s that didn't do well at the time, but I've seen it's gained a cult following, which I'm happy about. Because I actually agree. This is actually sorry about that. This is actually, like, a pretty good 90s movie. It stars Dee Snider, who's he's like the singer of Twisted Sister. And like, he doesn't really act much, but like, but after seeing him in this, I feel he should, like, he should act like more. I could be wrong though, but this is actually, like, a pretty good performance by him. I liked his character. Basically, like, he plays Captain Howdy. This character has all these piercings and tattoos all over his body, and then he, like, basically kidnaps people and tortures them with, like, hooks and razors, piercings with, like, it's all sorts of, like, ways he can torture him. This actually predates Saw, so this is like, one of those torture movies that, like, existed way before Saw or Hostel. So you can kind of call all this, like, the start of the torture porn. I don't really know why that's called that, but it's a start of the torture genre. I think that's a better way of calling it. And this is actually a movie right here that was made as, like, to cash in on the success of Scream. And, like, I did read, like, this movie didn't do well at the time it came out, but I do see, like, a lot of people consider this underrated, and I actually consider it to be underrated as well, because I actually do enjoy this. Not perfect by any means, but I do enjoy it, and that's Valentine's. I mean, when you think of a Valentine's Day horror movie, you think of My Bloody Valentine, which is the better movie, of course, but but I kind of feel like, this one should not be ignored. I mean, it stars, like, a bunch of people from the 90s, like David Boreanaz. I hope I pronounced that right. I know he played Angel in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer show. Also has a young Denise Richards and a young Katherine Heigl in it. Yeah, so this is actually one I actually did enjoy. It's not perfect by any means. I mean, like, things such as, like, had some bad acting, and some of the deaths are a little cliched, like, but there is some pretty good ones. Like, there's a part where the killer, like, tries to use a straw on this girl in this hot tub, but she keeps, like, moving away, like, so he can't get her. So what he does is, like, then just hose it into the hot tub, and she gets electrocuted by that. Like, that's actually something different. Normally it's a toaster. This one, it's a drill. I do also like the look of the killer. He wears this trench coat and this Cupid mask. That's actually pretty creepy looking. Like, seeing a guy in a Cupid mask with a knife. Yeah, so I don't really see why this gets so much hate. It's actually it's not a bad movie. It's not perfect, but it's not a bad movie by any means. It's still fun, still entertaining. and so I like this movie. And this one may not be considered so much horror to some people, but I mean, it's basically it's a monster movie, which is kind of horror movie, and it's also sci-fi. And that's Swamp Thing. This was directed by Wes Craven just before he directed Nightmare on Elm Street. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, this was directed by Wes Craven before he directed Nightmare on Elm Street. So, like, this was, like, you know, pretty, fun movie. I mean, like, it's a little, dated, I'll just gonna say that, though, because there's times it was a little cheesy. More towards, like, the second half got kind of cheesy, but first half was actually, like, you know, really good. I mean, I liked, Adria Barbeau was pretty good in this movie. I also do like the actor who plays, Swamp Thing. Can't find his name on this for some reason, but I know he passed away not too long ago. I mean, like, yeah, he was pretty good in this movie. I mean, I do like the look of Swamp Thing. I liked how it was all practical, no CGI, because there was no CGI at this time. I have a feeling if they do another Swamp Thing movie, they would go the CGI route, which I don't really care for. But I do like, you know, the action. I do like, the cinematography, like the way the scenes were shot in the swamp. So, yeah, this is definitely worth checking out. It's, this is, like, you know, a pretty good, monster movie. This is actually based on a DC Comics, character. So, and next one I chose is Maniac Cop. Like, this is actually a pretty good movie from the 80s. I don't really see much people talking about this. Bruce Campbell is in this movie, and Tom Atkins is also in this as well. It's basically about this this cop who is thought to be dead, and, like, you know, he basically, like, goes out and starts killing people, and he doesn't just, like, kill he doesn't just kill bad guys, he kills good people too. So he's kind of, like, you know, all messed up. I mean, like, I did like the atmosphere, the music, and, like, I did like how they did not show the Maniac Cop's face throughout most of the movie up until, like, the end, so it's kind of like a big surprise once you see his face. So it's pretty good suspense. Here's actually a movie I remember that came out in the theaters, but I didn't see it in the theater, though, because I was too young at the time to watch horror movies or anything R-rated at the time. And that's Disturbing Behavior. This stars a young Katie Holmes, a young, what's his name? James Marsden, and young Nick Stahl, who became somewhat famous later on after this movie. Also, William Sadler from Die Hard 2 has a small part in this movie. It's like, this is actually, like, you know, a pretty good movie, and I don't really hear much people talk about it. I mean, it's basically about, like, you know, this like, this town is kind of going mad. Like, people are getting hypnotized, and James Marsden and Katie Holmes' character are trying to figure out, like, what's going on with all these people, all their friends and whatnot. And you know, I do like, despite William Sadler's character was only in it for, like, a short amount of time, but he was a pretty cool character. Yeah, so, like, this movie I feel like, you know, definitely deserves some more attention than it's given. So, check this movie out. Another one I chose is Dolls. This is directed by Stuart Gordon, who directed Reanimator. And this was also produced by Charles Band, who does, like, the Puppet Master movies, the owner of Full Moon. But this is actually before Puppet Master, for that matter, so this movie actually reminded me of Puppet Master, but it predates Puppet Masters. I mean, I really do like the stop motion for all these puppets, and I also, like, you know, like the creepy atmosphere. I thought the cast did a pretty good job as well. But not a lot of people, like, you know, give this movie attention, like, so this movie does deserve more attention. So check this one out too. And another one I chose is Raising Cain. This is directed by Brian De Palma, who directed Carrie and Phantom of the Paradise. This is kind of like a lesser known movie of his, though. This one doesn't get much attention as, like, Carrie or Phantom of the Paradise does. But, like, you know, I really do enjoy this movie. I mean, like, this Stars John Lithgow. He plays this character that has multiple personalities, and he kidnaps kids for to like give to his father for like some kind of experiments of some sort. I mean, like, the funny thing when I saw this, I mean, even though I didn't see the movie Split, but I kind of feel like this inspired that movie. Like maybe M. Night Shyamalan took like inspiration from this movie to make Split, because it's like the same story. So basically, like, you know, this is like the original version of that movie, if you really think about it. I mean, if you like the movie Split, it's fine, but personally I'm not interested in seeing that movie. But this movie I really did like. And it's a movie I feel like, you know, doesn't get enough attention, so... But, you know, it's a pretty good movie, though. Next one I chose is this vampire movie called Near Dark. This is directed by Catherine Bigelow, who later directed the Hurt Locker. But she also directed, what's that movie? Point Break, that's what I was thinking of. She also directed Point Break. And this stars the late Bill Paxton in it, playing a vampire. Also has Lance Henriksen in it as well, also as a vampire. This movie reminded me of like Lost Boys. So like, and the funny thing is this came out the same year as Lost Boys, so it was like competition right there. But unfortunately this movie didn't do well at the box office. Did well with reviews, but not well at the box office though. But it's gained a cult following, which I actually do enjoy, because this is actually a pretty good movie. A vampire movie that doesn't get much attention. So if you haven't gotten around to see this, I recommend it. And the last one, actually just did an unboxing for this right here. So I have this in the Twin Peaks box right here. I'm talking about the movie though, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. Like, I've actually read some, like, you know, pretty bad reviews of the movie. It didn't do well at the time it came out, even bombed at the box office. Since then, it's gained a cult following, which I'm happy about. I mean, like, it's not a perfect movie. I mean, like, I did see some problems with it, but I still actually really did like it, and I don't think it's just because I'm a Twin Peaks fan. Like, I do like that, like, you know, it's done more well with fans of Twin Peaks. So maybe you need to like understand the source material to actually understand the movie, because I kind of feel maybe it got bad reviews at the time because maybe the critics didn't watch the show before seeing the movie, because you definitely need to see the show before seeing the movie. It was actually just a very interesting way to tie everything in, because the movie was a prequel to the show. Like, since the show was all about this detective Dale Cooper who investigates Laura Palmer's murder. This is a prequel showing all the events that led up to Laura Palmer's murder. So Laura Palmer was the center of this movie. She was the main focus. So we see like the events that they reference in the show, all in action. I mean, like, something I did not like is that while they did get, like, you know, most of the cast back from the show. However, I felt like, you know, they should have had Ben Horne, who was played by Richard Beamer in the show, back in this movie. And I did read that he was going to be in this movie, but he didn't like the script or something like that. Or didn't like what his character was going to do or something like that. So he declined. And also I kind of felt Dr. Jacoby should be in it as well. However, there's like a bunch of deleted scenes on this Blu-ray that shows that he was actually in it, so they did film a scene with Dr. Jacoby, but they edited it out though. I think it's because like all these deleted scenes were an hour and a half long, and the movie was 2 hours, so the movie would have been 3.5 hours. I guess it was just too long at the time. I mean, I really did like they got most of the cast back, all playing the same characters. I really did like all the lead-ins to the show. I really did like all the foreshadowing as well. I liked all the visuals as well. That's something that David Lynch is very good at, since some people think that he's only good at visuals and not good at storytelling, but I disagree on that one. So he did a pretty good job with making a prequel. And so, yeah, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, 100% underrated. Definitely does need to get more attention. And I'm very excited for the Twin Peaks revival coming this month. So, if you haven't seen the show or this movie, check them all out. Alright, that's about it. So if I missed any movies that you think are underrated, just leave me a comment down there in the comment box, and maybe I'll feature them in a future video. Alright, see you later.